Now, it's very important to have one play touchdowns for all different types of coverage: cover two, cover three, cover four zone, man, and match coverage. But it's equally important, yet somehow infinitely more neglected, to have those underneath dots that are going to win you those ball games when you need a key first down. It seems like everywhere you go online, players' offenses are great in between the 20s and they fall apart down in the red zone when they need a short dot. So today's video is going to share with you guys a very slept on route that I think you guys should be using. And this is going to be the outside release tight end sit route. And I think that this is one of the better routes in the game for beating zone coverage and beating the user in Madden. So let's go ahead and get straight into this. We're going to be taking a look at the play speed dig. Now, depending on what playbook you guys run, you're going to have some sort of bunch alignment. I'm in Kansas City, so I have the bunch X nasty. But for those of you that run a playbook that has regular bunch or bunch offset, you guys are going to be able to find this route somewhere in your playbook. Look for plays also of the same name, speed dig or flanker drive, or you'll be able to find it in a variety of different other plays. For instance, when I take a look at my formation, I have another one that you guys can find in this play, corner out dig. So it doesn't really matter which play you call. For this to work at its best, I think it's going to be better off against your cover three and cover four coverages, which is coincidentally the most popular shells that you will face online. With this particular route, what you're going to want is your bunch to the wide side of the field, because I'm going to get into zone drops here in a minute. You're going to see that it doesn't matter even if they set zone drops, they're not going to cover this at all. So what we're going to do is we're just going to snap the ball here a few times. You're going to see that this route sits underneath of a hook zone. Now, this one has more of a curl vibe to it, but if I were to go ahead and take a look at the one that is found in speed dig, it's actually going to get better width. In fact, you could use the one that's also found in the play known as spacing switch as well if you wanted. But again, if I'm running a cover three zone, again, you have to remember most players typically are going to be using on the weak side of the formation, because if it's a run, they want to be able to get over to the strong side and let the computer play on the other linebacker. So a lot of users are going to be hanging out in this area. So this is going to be nice for attacking away from the user if they're in a cover three or cover four. So take a look here at this version with speed dig, and you notice that there's much more of an outside release before it sits down. And it also is complemented very well by the speed dig itself, hence the name of the play. So what you'll kind of do here is you'll just let the speed dig drive off the zone, and you'll throw this with timing and pace underneath for a gain of 7. If you guys are right on time with this, you're basically going to complete it every single time, short of it being one of two different coverages, which would be a cover 2 shell, which those are really easy to beat in this year's game, or a man shaded down, which a lot of players don't run any longer. So it's pretty safe if your opponent's in some sort of cover 3 or cover 4 based defense. Again, just let him start to turn it about 7 yards. I throw this up and I conservative catch it just to make sure that I'm, getting my catch and traffic bonus. If you guys have gift wrapped and mutt on your quarterback, this will be automatic. You'll literally never drop it, short of it being, I would say, like a mid-zone KO, which a lot of players aren't going to have their slot corner with mid-zone KO. So you should be okay in this regard. Again, if they were to be running some sort of cover 4 as well, you're going to notice that it's going to play the exact same way. After all, if you were to compare a cover 3 to a cover 4, they both have yellow hook curls and purple curl flats on those plays. However, what changes when your opponent likes to set zone drops? So what I'm going to do right here is I'm going to set my curl flats to 5. A lot of players like to do this here, and you're going to see that this does not change the impact of how this play works. So even with this set to 5 yards, you're going to see that I'm just going to throw this with kind of an inside pass lead and conservative catch it, and you're going to hold on to it the vast majority of the time. This is fantastic because you don't really necessarily need a horizontal pull. A lot of times we talk about horizontal stretching in zone, where you would want to have something running to the flat, which is fine. You could do this if you absolutely positively want this butt naked open to do this, but you don't have to. Again, if you have any type of timing to this throw, it's going to be 7 7 7 7. I mean, you're going to be picking up chunk yardage underneath without really having to throw chunk yardage throws. So you're going to stay ahead of the chains quite easily with this. Now, if you get man coverage of any type, the cool thing about this is that you can kind of just anticipate the turn. Curl routes and comeback routes are very effective against man this year, and they are criminally underutilized. Just let the route turn around, put it on the numbers, regular bullet pass, don't freeform it, and press the conservative catch button. Again, if you have gift wrapped on your quarterback, it gives your players basically like unlimited catch and traffic. So short of a KO ability, you are just not going to drop this ball. I mean, you're going to see here, it's going to be caught pretty much every single time. So man coverage doesn't really do a great job either. Now, the one thing you do need to be careful with though is shaded down man. So if I, am facing man, I snap this ball and it's shaded down, you might end up running yourself into a situation where either a hook curl that's shaded down in a man coverage play, or the man coverage itself could actually make a play happen. So one thing I do want to make you guys aware of is the man coverage when shaded down. Doesn't mean you can't throw this, but just be careful. You want to throw this with timing. If it is shaded down, there's a chance that guy might be sitting underneath of the curl, so you don't necessarily want that happening. But the good news is, if your opponent's running any type of man coverage whatsoever, especially a cover 1 or cover 0 variety, but shaded down man is not something you're going to see that often, so it's not something I would personally worry about. One thing that I do want to leave you guys with is, if you want to ever run this on the short side of the field, you need to be aware that your timing really matters with this. Again, if we go back to kind of the beginning when we were talking about throwing this regardless of whether or not you have a pull route, this is kind of the same drill here. If I were to kind of run this with no extra route pulling horizontally, one thing you're going to have to really do is be careful with your timing on this. Doesn't mean you can't throw it. It's just going to be a much tighter squeeze. You're throwing this inside pass lead on the short side of the field, because anytime they've got a purple zone out there on the field, that's going to be, you know, a little problematic. So I would say that if you're ever going to run this short side, just make sure that you have something that attack the flat, just because that's going to really open up that pocket for you quite easily. You see right here, this could be stealing in a 2-point conversion situation where you got a zone look, or it could also be really valuable, you know, milking a game away. Maybe you got a 3rd down and 5 and you need to, you know, throw the ball for a 1st down, but you need something safe. This is a great concept, especially out of this spacing switch, that allows you to just steal, again, 7 yards. I mean, it's the easiest pitch and catch arguably in the game, and you really can focus on kind of making it so your opponents, you know, have to worry about other things. I mean, I can motion up to the kind of this emptier look that we talked about yesterday, and now all of a sudden, if the, you know, the user hangs out too low, I can throw this ball to Pacheco. Again, just the opportunity to kind of run like a little post hitch combo in the middle of the field with this. There's a lot you could do off of this. Again, this is one route that's just 7 yards every single time, and it kind of dictates that they have to play, you know, more of like a cover 2 shell. If they do play a cover 2 shell, then yes, the vertical hooks will be in a much better spot. But when you know you got your opponent in a cover 2 shell, I mean, you guys obviously know that you're going to be living on corner routes, because there's just no way that they can stop you from, you know, completing corner routes. Now, again, you could run this out of the bunch look. If they want to run a cover 2 shell on you to guard that route, they're still going to struggle quite mightily with, you know, a streak in a corner. So now all of a sudden your flood combo is actually sitting down. It's not really a flat. It's just more of like a hitchy little sit down route. And honestly, you could still create, you know, good width to the sideline to open it up if you suspect that it might be a cover 3 or a cover 4. Again, you know that that route's going to be open, but again, that corner route's going to obviously be there every single time it gets a cover 2. I don't know what was going on the left side of my offensive line there, but nonetheless, this is a great route. I think it's criminally slept on. You know, it's a great timing route, beats man, beats zone. Kind of think about the dollar meta. It's all cover 3 blitzing right now. You're going to be able to throw that route all day long, short of them manning up the tight end and shading underneath, which obviously is going to open up a lot of other stuff in your offense. So, you know, take command, use this little sit down route. I think it's a great little mix in. I know this is not a 1-play touchdown video, but I still think it's something that applies to everyone in the community that can help you guys steal 1st down. So hope you guys enjoyed it. We'll see you guys later. Until then, this is Zan. Get in the lab and good luck.